Welcome back to Jobline on News 12 Long Island. We're here with Peter Ekstrom, the president of Deal Builders, discussing the do's and don'ts of the follow-up call after a job interview. It can be such a sticky wicket. People say, should I call? Shouldn't I call? I already called once. Should I call a second time? But I've already called twice. Should I call a third time? What's the general rule of thumb on this?
Well, what you want to think is, first of all, you don't want to become a pest. So in your interview or on the sales call, you want to find out when would be a convenient time for you to follow up by phone. Get a scheduled time on the calendar and then follow up and make the call. Not having, obviously you can see the problem. If you don't have a scheduled time, then you go through the question and answer and usually fear sets in. Don't be afraid to call. Make the call, and if you have an appointed time, it should be easy because your call is expected.
For those not reading through the lines, it sounds to me like you're constantly closing on a time.
Yes.
You know, it's not on a thing, it's on a time.
Actually, Scott, it's a next step.
A next step.
Okay? A next step is fine. It doesn't have to be a time, but a next step. You should always understand what is going to happen the next time you take a step.
And that is our perfect segue into bullet number one, under don'ts. And that's don't close by asking how and when the decision will be made.
Right. It's badgering. You don't want to badger. You want to nurture people. You want to build rapport. And again, you want to speak and converse with people in a way that separates you from everyone else. You can be rest assured that other salespeople and other job candidates are sounding robotic. They're not comfortable in their conversations, so it sounds awkward. So you don't want to badger the interviewer.
Okay, and here's a great one. Don't be fearful about the call.
No. If nothing to fear. If you have a lack of confidence, it's going to show up in your voice. The prospect or the interviewer is going to get a sense that you're maybe not too confident, and they're looking to hire confident people.
Right.
So don't be afraid. You have nothing to lose, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Pick up the phone, make the call, but just don't be a pest.
I like to tell people too that, you know, listen, what you have to say and what you have to offer is important. And it could mean the difference between this person's success or failure. So of course it's an important call, and be powered by that when you pick up the phone.
Sure. I mean, that builds confidence, and it helps you to speak clearly, fluidly, and get noticed.
All right, don't start the conversation with, has a decision been reached?
My goodness, no. Again, go back to when we were talking about do's. We want to make conversations. We want to make this a personal, a peer-level conversation, I call it. So you want people to look at you as their peer, and you don't want to make the object the focal point of the conversation, because it sets you up for a disappointment where if there's no status, or if they didn't get the sales literature or didn't look at your resume, then the conversation comes to an abrupt end prematurely. That's not what you want. So you want to make this conversation one of getting information as to where things stand, and you want to phrase that in a way. This goes back to practicing before you speak, so that it comes across in a nurturing, conversant way.
Now, you have a great one here. Don't stalk your prospects. I mean, I could just see the guys in the grocery store, you know, and he already knows you, and you show up there and you go, now has there been a decision?
Right, exactly. I mean, if you sound like you're desperate and you need a job, or you need to make that sale, I don't know about you, but I don't like to buy anything from people that seem desperate to sell it to me.
Right.
So you want to come across as emotionally and financially independent, not desperate for the business or desperate for the job. So don't stalk them. Don't wait out in the parking lot for them to leave work.
And we'll finish up the list with don't appear desperate, which you kind of said.
Exactly. I mean, don't beg. There's nothing worse for a job candidate or for a salesperson than to beg for the order or beg for the job. You're there to see how your qualifications would fit into the job requirements of the company, and you're also looking to attach the value of your product to the need of the prospect.
Okay. Now, we don't have much time left, but I used to work with people that make these calls for the job hunting when I was doing outplacement, and they would get so nervous. They would, just before the call, their hands would get all sweaty and everything, and their brain would fritz out. I mean, do you recommend things like deep breathing or anything else to help people relax?
Yes, so you should take it easy, take short breaths to kind of pace yourself. But most importantly, Scott, is that people do not know what they're going to say. That's why they're nervous. So I would suggest writing out exactly what you are going to say to the interviewer or the potential customer, and what the possible rebuttals are. This way you're prepared. When you're prepared, you're not nervous.
All right, fantastic. Pete, thanks so much for being here. Thanks to all my guests and you at home for watching Jobline. Until next time, I'm Scott Possessor. Happy hunting.